What's up? Welcome to another episode of Shawn Thinking Out Loud. This one's live because I just wanted it Saturday and I figured what the hell. But got some notes, some outlines I want to... Of course, I got to talk about the Epstein list, or lack thereof, which I believe we all know that's crap. But supposedly, and I have notes, it's supposed to be a list of his clients. Where they got it, I don't know, but... Epstein was supposedly, now there's a bunch of theories out there, providing underage girls for prominent figures. They even mentioned one of the Prince of England. So, and then he supposedly, ceased to exist himself in prison. What I'm trying to do here is try to analyze the political implications surrounding that list and maybe explore some public perceptions and reactions that it's not released. Now, actually this was more about the silence from prominent figures on the left. Has anybody heard anything from Nancy Pelosi about, release the list? Release the list. Nope. How about Adam Schiff? Heard anything from him about releasing the list? Barack Obama? Heard anything from him about releasing the list? Now, what could be behind this silence? Could it be that Trump isn't on the list? They've seen it. They have top secret clearance. They've all probably seen it. But could it be that Trump isn't on that list, but a bunch of their donors are? Or could it be, as Tucker Carlson and a few people have thrown out there, including a former CIA operative, and I don't take anybody's word for anything online, or that it was a Mossad operation with CIA help? Could that be too? That would mean, because according to records, Epstein was doing this for 25 years. Well, that would mean how many presidents would know about these operations with the CIA and Mossad? Also, I was talking with Jimmy and Andy. Be looking for Democrats who suddenly start voting for Trump's stuff. See, you can't blackmail people if you release the information, right? Because everybody knows. You can't hold it over people's heads. So could that be another reason he didn't release it? Who knows? I'm going with the CIA thing just because, well, it's the CIA. It's the government. And they've done some shady shit. I know, I work for them. However, what I have heard from are the unwashed masses of the loony left. The sudden uptick of AI-generated images featuring Trump and Epstein. And you can even prove to them, or like on X, they'll put up one of those community advisories that it's an AI-generated picture. They'll share it anyway. They don't care. They're idiots. I have an entire article I wrote, sourced in everything from psychologists and psychiatrists, on how poorly educated the loony left is, but how indoctrinated they are. And see, people confuse education with intelligence. Now, education is just being able to regurgitate facts. And they're not even facts. For example, some people go to school for gender studies. There's no factual, there's no 80 genders, there's 2. That's it. So they're not actually learning facts, they're regurgitating ideology and not listening to actual facts. And I keep asking the same question. If Trump is on the list, why didn't Biden release his DOJ? Because that would have, they wouldn't have had to make up all the stupid shit they did. And look foolish, to be honest. especially when the banks were the civil suit in New York City. The banks that supposedly were hurt by Trump testified for Trump. So obviously it's going to make New York City's DA look like a total douche. Now, I wrote down impact of misinformation. The left doesn't care if it's misinformation. And it's not misinformation. Misinformation is a synonym for propaganda. That's all that is. And you can prove to them, or prove facts. I source my stuff. Like, I go out and find sources and read their stuff and then write my papers. And I ask questions. And that's how that's how my books get written. I ask questions. Like, when you were in school, I'm sure, when you were taking notes, let's say it was the Declaration of Independence, if the professor wrote, the Declaration of Independence was ratified July 4th, 1776, you would write Declaration of Independence ratified July 4th, 1776. Not me. I would write, when was the Declaration of Independence ratified? Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? What was the Declaration of Independence purpose? And then I write essays or paragraphs based on those questions. And that's how you end up with the information I have and the books I have. Now, the consequences for public opinion on political discourse. As far as AI and misinformation, you can't fix stupid. You can generally tell misinformation pretty easily, especially when they're putting community messages on them, but people will ignore it. So that's the consequences of stupidity, not of misinformation or AI. Now, Trump did know Epstein frequented his casinos, I guess, or hotels a few times. And I guess he's in his black book circled. But if you're going to buy real estate, you're probably going to call Trump to buy real estate. So, especially, I don't know, in Ireland. But yeah, everybody's speculating, Trump, why wouldn't Biden release? I keep asking that question and I get no answers. I get the investigation was over during Trump's first term. Or not, it wasn't over. What's-her-name was already in prison in 2019. Trump was in the White House. So Biden had all that time to clear up all that stuff that Trump was supposed to. And I'm not saying I'm happy with Trump not releasing it, or Pam Bondi, or whatever the hell it is. But I keep asking that. Why didn't the Biden administration release it? And I'll tell you why. Because Trump's not on it, and a bunch of their donors are. I also believe that, and I'm not ruling out the CIA and Mossad angle either, and I'll tell you why. Because it's the government and they'll do some shady shit. Just like I think they took out JFK. Because, probably Cuba. He was leaning to socialist. Although he was actually fiscally conservative. Weird. I wrote down broader implications for political integrity. There is none. We have a fourth branch of government now called the bureaucracy. There is no accountability. You don't elect those people, yet they can fuck you over. They're judge, jury, and executioner. What if you get Jimmy could tell you in zoning or inspections. You'll have the inspector come out, and if there's something wrong, and let's say you catch a fine, you know who you go to fight that fine? The same people that gave you the fine in the first place. And part of their funding comes from those fines. So they literally have the power of three branches. The legislative, because they make the regulations. The executive, they execute the laws that they make. And the judicial, they get to judge whether you're in the wrong or the right. You don't elect these people. Tell me that's democracy, huh? So, a recap of the silence from the left. Pelosi, Alvin, you notice you ain't heard nothing from those people going, release the list, because they know who's on it. They know who's on it. And they also know Trump isn't. So releasing it would do nothing for them, except lock up a bunch of their donors. Or, again, the CIA angle, which would mean past presidents have known about this operation. So, and I jotted down importance of transparency in political matters. There is none. I don't care who the president is. You don't know half of what goes on in government. No, I do. We should be investigating all. If there's even a hint of wrongdoing by the CIA in this case, or Mossad, or any of that, well, they should be held accountable too. That's trafficking. Of course, then you would have to arrest Biden too, and a bunch of because under his immigration policy, we were literally sending kids to their traffickers. So, yeah, we'd have to lock up Biden too, which I have no problem with that. Now, I have live chat open, and you can ask questions, or you can, weird. I should probably get a little closer. I'm not wearing a hat tonight, so let me move my camera a little bit here. All right, there we go. I'm on the beach. Actually, I've been to that beach in Santa Catarina. It's a beautiful beach. I like it. Oh. Okay, no questions. Moving along. I guess, now I saw the video, like snippets of the video. I don't live in the U.S., so I don't get the same news that you do. Not all of it. That's why when Looney laughed, man, you're brainwashed by Fox News. Hey, retard. I don't get Fox News here. I get Globo. I get CNN International, which is so different than the CNN you get in the United States. There's no bias in that one. But I wanted to talk about, there's this raid on a marijuana farm, which marijuana is legal in California. You can grow it with a license, blah, blah, blah. But I guess they showed up, a bunch of protesters showed up. I guess there was some idiot shooting at them too. There's a $50,000 reward. I don't know if it's dead or alive, but hey, you make you do you, okay? But these idiots in California are basically lying to everybody's face. They're just rounding up immigrants. They're forgetting the illegal alien. They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens. That's the legal term. Illegal, meaning they broke the law. Aliens mean foreign to that place. They're not supposed to be there. So they went to this marijuana farm. I guess it's that farm was already in court over not paying wages in horrible work conditions, not giving breaks and stuff. However, they're out there talking about how they're just rounding people up from this marijuana farm, not saying that they're illegal, or they're using the term immigrant. Because they want to manipulate your emotions. Not telling you that the place was a shithole, and most illegal aliens work for pennies on the dollar. Weird. The party of slavery is, arguing for slavery. Weird. Not quite slavery, close, but not quite. Definitely breaking the law. And so they want you to believe that these immigrants are living the great life, and that, they should stay and we shouldn't arrest. I think the owners should be arrested too. I think all these people that hire illegal aliens and pay them pennies on the dollar should be arrested. For the very least, probably tax evasion, because if they're not paying those illegal immigrants, they're paying those illegal immigrants under the table, which means those illegals aren't paying taxes. That's tax evasion, and that should be on the person paying them, because he's supposed to set them up with the W-4s and all that stuff. So we could get him on that, as well as harboring illegal aliens, which is a felony, by the way. Now, marijuana is legal in California with a license. You can have farms and all that. And ICE showed up. A bunch of protesters showed up, and they're showing these videos of these kids running away from tear gas because a bunch of protesters showed up and started throwing rocks and shit. So they popped off tear gas. Just a question, why were the kids there in the first place? Are we now arguing for child labor? Because Gavin Newsom literally said there were children running from the tear gas. Why were they there? So now Gavin Newsom is in favor of child labor? I'm pretty sure there are federal child labor laws too, through OSHA and the Department of Commerce, that we could charge people with, and I think we should. Those children were running from the tear gas. I guess irony is lost on Gavin Newsom, because I'm pretty sure child labor is illegal. But hey, they're living their best life, I guess, according to the loony left. You can't make this shit up. And I'm trying to think of something witty to say, but I can't. It's so stupid. And of course, the media is like portraying it. They actually show the kids running away, and I'm like, these guys don't understand what they're showing, or irony is lost on them too. When the loony left used fascism or Nazi as a catchword for all conservatives, you realize the Germans used child labor too. So, just saying. I'm not calling you anything. I'm just saying. But yes, the loony left media showing those kids running away from tear gas, like it's supposed to make me feel bad that they're committing child labor law violations. Unaccompanied children, they called them. Where I'm from, we call that child trafficking. And even the loony left, I've been putting it up on X and all these other, because look at those fascists attacking those children. Again, irony, why are the children there? No, with tear gas. Why are the children there? It's a farm that, grows marijuana. Shouldn't they be in fucking school? But, yeah. So, Gavin Newsom is now in favor of child labor and paying people. They're defending basically slavery again. Wow, bringing out the classics they are. And personally, I think everyone involved in situations like that just should be charged across the board with child labor violations and harboring illegals. Period. Take their property. It's a pot field. So it would appear that someone in the loony left could kind of cut back on the weed because it's making them frickin' stupid. Yeah, I I'm supposed to encourage you for informed discussion. I'll give you informed discussion. Never listen to a loony leftist, seriously. And think critically. Like, why are the kids there? Think critically. Again, I'm going to open this for questions. Anybody got any questions on that topic? Because I would love a loony leftist to tell me what the kids were doing there. That would be an awesome discussion. Because please explain to me your stance on child labor on a pot farm in California. I'm waiting. In fact, I'll wait. I'll finish this little Heineken, those commie bastards. Charge the same amount of money for a smaller can. That's why I buy more cans. Let me check my I got on a little bit yesterday just to see who was I did like, I don't know, 14 minutes of just rambling. I put together an outline today because I wasn't actually planning on going live, but with all the crap I saw on X today, holy crap. The AI photos are just over the top now. Of course, they've been out there for a while, and they'll put I already covered it earlier, but they'll put the warning on there, and they'll still share it over and over and over. Matter of fact, that Hulk actor had to apologize for using one of those photos to try and say Trump. Oh, I forgot to put something in my outline, but I'll just talk about it off the top of my head. According to, I think it was Axios, I think. According to Axios, the video of the Epstein unaliving was altered. Now, according to them, they sent the copy to experts or whatever. I didn't know you could use a copy to do that. I thought you needed the original, but I'm not an expert on that. I just do my crap on this computer. They say it's altered, which, again, if the CIA theories check out, well, no shit. Again, our government will do some shady shit. Remember, Obama was spying on all of you at one time. So, that was another one today that they're still singing the praises of Obama, and I'm posting stuff from my book that I'm writing. I just post questions now that they have to answer, and they won't, because if they answer them honestly, they're going to come across looking stupid. But what was the one I posted to? True or false? Barack Obama used the IRS to target conservative groups. Still waiting on an answer. The answer is true. He did. Through, what the hell was her name? Lois Lerner? I think it was Lerner. I don't know. I can't remember if that's her first name. But they admitted it, too, that they did that. And that's why she got fired. But she should have faced charges. But they fired her instead. That's the leniency of the left for criminal activity. I'm going to finish this beer. You all got a chance to pipe in here. But I like the background because I've been there, and people yelling outside the house. My second one. Yeah, I made a joke to that Hoovy over on Grumpy Farmers. I did a video on him. He went back like 6 videos to whine about stuff that Grumpy had said. And he has a picture of him holding it's not him, it's just his hand, with a Pabst Blue Ribbon, and which, by the way, is horse piss. It's like almond milk. But I made a joke on Grumpy, like, man, drinking almond milk is like drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon non-alcoholic and thinking it's Heineken. Yeah, I can't stand Pabst Blue. It's a puke beer. That means it tastes like someone already threw it up and you're probably going to do it again. Let me finish this. I'll get another one. Monday I'll start back with the show. Maybe tomorrow. Depends on what happens. You know, that's the whole thing. So things have to happen for me to do videos, news, or sometimes I just go over in Grumpy's and find some idiot that has no clue, and that's the video. And there's a lot of them out there. Stupid with the advent of the internet. Stupid has gone international, and I found out that the loony left is international as well. They're dumb everywhere. For example, I get lectured from people in England that there are like 80 different genders. No, there are 80 different degrees of fucking nuts. That's what that is. But on to the next story. I guess a judge temporarily has blocked ICE raids in Los Angeles. So they're trying to stop ICE from doing their job, which to me sounds like they're violating the federal law, if you want my opinion, because supposedly they're racially profiling brown people, although they have deported Russians who, if I remember correctly, they're not too brown, but the majority of the people who come in the United States are brown. Not my fault that they happen to have that skin color, or nor ISIS. So I think everybody knows what ICE is, right? It's U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're like, under Biden, I don't think they did much. Well, they tried to hunt down child traffickers and smugglers, but with Biden just letting them into the country, it was a losing battle. They've been going to the sanctuary cities on purpose because, well, that's where these people run to because they think they're going to be safe. Now, the reason they're there is because the loony left want the numbers. They don't care about the people. Oh, fucking no. If ICE deported every illegal out of California, they would lose 3 congressional seats and 2 electorates in the Electoral College. That's the only reason they want them there. And if they could get them to vote illegally, which I think I did a video on election fraud yesterday. Yeah, the Democrats are, election fraud. It doesn't happen, by the way, according to the loony left. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. Anyway, according to this judge, the ACLU filed a lawsuit saying they're racially profiling. Well, maybe they are. They're profiling people, running people. When ICE pulls up and you start running, chances are you're going to get arrested because you're here illegally. So running people are being profiled. They actually haven't provided any evidence that they're racially profiling, except that pretty much everybody in California that's illegal is brown. Weird, huh? They pretty much all come from South America. So, now, I wrote that impact on future raids. Nothing, because it's going to get to the Supreme Court and get shot down, because the president, there's a law on the books. Let me see if I can find the actual name of the law. I have all my information on my computer, for books, for notes, for everything. What's it called? 8 United States Code, Title 8, Aliens and Nationality, Chapter 12, Immigration and Nationality, Subchapter 2, Immigration, Part 2, Admissions Qualification for Aliens, Travel Control of Citizens and Aliens. So basically, it tells you who can be in the country and who can't. That's federal law, signed into law by Congress, and they're trying to undo that. Bad news, no. It's not going to stand up in the Supreme Court, because that's kind of what that's their job. Then we got responses from immigrant advocacy groups. The responses, they keep leaving out the word legal immigrants. That was illegal, and never use the term illegal aliens, because let me see, concerns for law enforcement and public safety advocates. As far as I'm concerned, ship all the illegals to California, then fence it off. Then, they can all enjoy walking through human feces. I told you that story about, I was watching Gilstrap TV, which awesome, probably should have put a link in the description, but this was the last minute, where he has toys that make fart noises, and he videotapes himself just scaring the shit out of people, farting like really loud near him, like he shit his pants. Well, he did it, he was at the beach in California, because he travels and does this, that's how he makes his money on YouTube, and there's this line of girls, and he nailed it, right? And the girl on the end walked all the way down to the other end where the girls were, and had to step over human feces. Imagine the irony of that. You had to walk all the way down the line to get away from a fake fart to actually step over real shit in California. Think about it for a minute. Let it sink in there. Fake fart, real shit. California's a great place. But if you're running, they're racially profiling running people. So that's why I don't jog. I don't want to get picked up. That, and I'm freaking lazy. Now this is a district court, so it only applies in Los Angeles. There are about 8 counties, I think. Like 8 counties or something she's in, because it's district judges, and since the Supreme Court ruling, that's as far as it can go. But other jurisdictions, what they did was they went judge shopping, and they found it was an Obama appointed judge, of course. But they said something about the fears of deportation. Well, if you're illegal, you should be deported. That's the whole point of immigration law. You can self-deport. They'll give you $1,000. They'll give you 30 days to get your affairs in order. Give you $1,000 and fly you to your home country. If you're too fucking stupid, and you can apply for citizenship the minute you land. You can go right down to the embassy and apply for a visa right there that day when you land. You can take that $1,000 and go down to the embassy and fucking apply. But no. So all you dumb fucks that are staying here illegally, instead of doing that, I'm hoping you get a baton to the shin. Not bad enough to break it, but enough to where, when you hit your leg on the coffee table, you get that feeling. Because you're stupid. Well, another question and answer session. Anybody got any thoughts on that? I do like the coffee table thing. Yeah, instead of tear gas, just start smashing people in the shins with a baton, so they have to limp around a little bit. I wish we could find a special weapon to where it's non-lethal, where you throw it out there and they stub their toe. I don't know if you've ever stubbed your toe in the middle of the night. That's what it should feel like. I bet you that feels worse than a rubber bullet. What I do with these, by the way, is I'm doing this live. I'm recording it too. Then I'll the recording I'll upload so I can do the overdub in Portuguese. Actually, I think I have 12 languages. Again, I'm hilarious in Japanese. But then we can watch it in Portuguese later. No questions. No comments. Not even you're a maggot. I like that maggot. M-A-G-A-T. Maggots are stupid. And then I post my sourced articles on how brainwashed the loony left is, with sources from psychologists and psychiatrists. But they're smarter than I am. Okay. Again, there is a difference between educated, being able to regurgitate ideology that you've been force-fed through college, and intelligence. My favorite is, after I share the source, you didn't write that. Okay, whatever. Believe what you want. It still says you're poorly educated and highly indoctrinated. Right? With sources. So that's your only... Okay. It says poorly educated and highly indoctrinated. Thanks for the validation. I'm going to finish this one. Wait and see if anybody's got any questions. Hã?
Tô falando com uma amiga minha lá de Jiparana.
Oh, amiga. Now go get another one and we'll move on to the next topic. Because I like questions. Actually, I'd love for my shorts, like I do, send me questions. What do you guys want to know about Brazil? Anything. Brazil, the loony left. I've written extensively and researched it a lot. Studying the loony left is almost like working at a laboratory with chimps. They're not as smart as you are, because they throw their poop, but they're smart enough to entertain you, right? You notice I don't debate them. I'll post articles and stuff I've already written. I don't go out of my way to come up with new stuff, because they do the same old stuff every time. Basically just lie. Pretty much, yeah. I've never seen, I don't think any time in history America has had so many liars. Or maybe it's just the internet that now we can actually see them. Because back in the day, if you lied, you were shunned. Nobody listened to you. You lie once and I don't give a shit. That's kind of why Trump has lost points with me, because he said he was going to release those files. He doesn't have to. Or, here's what he could do. He could say, yeah, there were some agencies involved, and we're going to deal with that internally, so we're not going to release the list. And then start firing CIA motherfuckers that were involved, if they were. And, however, again, that's going to open another can of worms, because Epstein was doing what he was doing for 25 years. So other presidents knew about these operations. Other, politicians and knew about these operations. So, and there were children involved. So, yeah. And of course, he brought up the point that even if people are innocent, if their name is just mentioned, it'll destroy their lives. Thank you, Me Too movement. Did you know 5 of the women that supposedly testified against Judge Kavanaugh admitted they lied? 5. Not one of them did a day in jail. Me personally, I believe if you lie about that, you should have to do the sentence that a rapist would do. You should have to do their sentence. Because guess what? That's what they would have gotten for your lie. In California, I don't know, do they still have the death penalty for rape? I don't remember. I do know they have it for, a child under 12. Good. And it should be horrific. I personally think they should park the as you're being, taken into prison, there should be a wood chipper right there on the front lawn. You know how on military bases they put like the cannons, the howitzers out front? They should have that in prison, like 2 wood chippers facing each other for chomos. I think it'd be a great idea. Also, I think when people drive by, like chomos drive by outside that, are just thinking about it, they may look over at those 2 wood chippers and go, they're going to put me in their feet first if I do something. Yeah, and you got to put them in feet first. Because you put them in head first, it doesn't hurt long enough. And you got to, slowly with a rope. You know what I mean? You don't just dump them in there. Actually, I had another idea, because fire departments like to do these control burns, but you gotta have a lot of heavy oak tables and rusty butter knives, okay, and a nail gun, because you ain't gonna want to do what I'm going to talk about with your hands and a hammer. No. What you do, actually, you could probably do a bunch of chomos all at the same time with a big oak table, you know what I mean, like one of those ones you do for like family banquets, like long. And you take all these chomos into this building, old building, you want it burned down. You got the fire department out there, it's going to be control burn. What you do is you take a nail gun and you nail their testicles to the table, right? And you put a rusty butter knife in front of each one of them. But you only do that after you set fire to the building. You throw a bunch of rusty butter knives out there and say, cut or burn. And then if they do cut and come running out, you shoot them. Sorry, I have no sympathy for chomos. That's the one crime. I mean, if you're not a repeat offender, let's say you do a drink driving accident and you accidentally hurt somebody, I could actually go, you might need to get some help with your alcohol. Now, if you do it like 5 times, just fucking lock them up and throw away the key. I'm going to finish this beer. I'm just rambling now. I have notes on there. Speaking of the next topic, these idiots actually help chomos. They groom them for them. So, and guess what? You people hire them. But I'm going to finish this beer, we'll get another one. And, a question or two or a comment or two would be nice. Just, let me know what you're thinking. Again, the Epstein list. I'm going either CIA or because again, I haven't heard anything from the top Democrats about it. So which tells me that one, Trump isn't on it, and two, a lot of their donors are. But then again, same with the Republicans. I'm not giving them a free pass. I bet you some of their donors are on there too. Maybe some of them. Watch the voting for Congress now. See how many Democrats kind of start voting a little more with Trump. Again, you can't blackmail people if you release the list. You know, you can't hold it over their heads if everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? So that might be an angle. I don't know. I'll be right back. This is what, number 3? Yeah. Okay, I'm prepared for the next segment. Guess what I did today? I didn't really argue. I just posted articles and stuff about the difference between your average everyday groomer and the alphabet mafia groomer. I talked about, and I shared videos. You know, remember all those parents going to school? You know, the domestic terrorists, according to Biden. Yeah, those are parents who are pissed off because you keep telling their kids about what you do with your pee-pee. Then, I had to explain the difference between let me explain the difference between the average everyday groomer and the loony leftist groomer. Your average everyday groomer will try to sexualize your child secretly, behind your back, through the internet, or quietly in corners, you know, and he doesn't want you to know because he doesn't have support of the government. The loony leftist groomer will write down their sexual fantasies, put it in a book, put a cover on it, and call it a school textbook to try and sexualize your child, and call it inclusivity. Did you know? Today I did some research. Well, actually I did it a while ago because I'm tired of hearing this one. What is it? Straight people are more chomos are straight people. Well, there are more straight people. Period. Actually, they're underrepresented because 7.6% of the American population identifies as part of the alphabet mafia. Yet they make up 20% of the sex offender registry. That's called overrepresentation. That means per capita, the alphabet mafia has more sick fucks than the general population. 7.6% versus 20%. So yeah, you can stop with it. That's under, because you take out 100 that under and there shouldn't be any chomos. There should be like piles of refuse left over after the wood chipper. They shouldn't be sitting in prison. However, I spent all afternoon. He just kept going the same thing. What about priests? Well, don't go to fucking church, stupid. But you can't escape school. It's against the law. Books like what is it? Something queer. I can't remember. He was talking about how to give head. homosexual head. And this book was available in the school library. I have a whole list if you want the list of the books, but they're sick. I mean, might as well just hand out Hustlers, but you can't do that because it's heterosexual. So, and you can't teach the Bible in school because it might indoctrinate them. What? But I guess, sexualizing them won't. It won't make them easier to, molest. By the way, according to Department of Education statistics, their own, they did a study. They estimate 10,000 kids are sexually abused in our schools every year. So stop hiring the mentally fucking ill to teach your kids. Maybe school shootings will, drop too when we stop having crazy people teach your kids. Because crazy can be transmitted. Because if you hear crazy long enough, you might become fucking crazy. How many, you can go over on my page, I have a whole of parents just at these school meetings where the teachers have told, don't tell your parents. If a teacher says that to your kid, well, then they're committing a crime. Then you got, now I have gay friends. They don't come out. They didn't come out when we first met and went, "I'm gay." You could tell, but they didn't come out. That was not their identity. They come out. My name is John or Bill or whatever. How you doing? What do you do for a living? Oh, hey, I was a soldier. Blah blah blah. If you talk to one of these alphabet mafia motherfuckers, they come out dressed all in rainbow. I'm gay. I didn't ask, and that pretty much means this conversation is over because that's fucking sexual harassment. You sure as shit shouldn't be doing it in front of kids. My favorite is over and over, all he did all afternoon. What about priest? What about you? You're arguing way too hard to tell kids what you do with your pee-pee. Sorry, but that's what they're doing. You're arguing way too hard to tell kids what you do with your pee-pee. And if you're doing that, you're a sick fuck. By the way, it's not natural, or else you'd be having kids. Then again, after talking to some of these people, they could be asshole babies. I don't know. My uncle was gay. He was cool. Actually, his story was funny because he came up when my grandmother didn't like it, but when being gay wasn't accepted. But we knew he was gay. We told him, "You're gay, dude. Just admit it, and get on with your life." But he got married, had 2 kids to this. Oh my God, he should have just went gay. And when he finally, came out, we're like, "Told you." See, we don't have a problem with gay. It's that it's something you do in your bedroom. Like, I never asked him, "Hey, how tight is his asshole?" Not once, because I didn't care. I don't ask my straight friends, "She pretty tight?" No. Why? It's not appropriate. So I shouldn't hear about your sex life, and neither should fucking kids. My favorite is, there's a trans genocide. No, there isn't, but if you keep grooming and castrating kids, there could be. Which, by the way, thanks to the Supreme Court and Donald Trump, it is now illegal to groom and castrate a child. Of course, they're still trying. I guess there's an investigation into some health care, what they call health care providers, grooming and castrating kids. So put them in prison for genital mutilation, which, by the way, the World Health Organization is wholeheartedly against. But yeah, they basically deflect. They never deny, though. They never say, we're not doing that. We're not telling them about sex and all that. Well, yeah. But of course, I ask questions too. Like, that's what I do now for these loony leftists. I'll post the article and then I'll just post questions. And if they answer them honestly, they should feel really stupid. They should, but they don't, because they're already stupid. Stupid people don't know they're stupid because, well, they're stupid. But some strategies for parents to monitor educational content. Your first line of defense is to have open dialogue with your kids. Don't be afraid to say, hey, this teacher says anything, let me know. Because they should not be teaching your kids morals anyway. I don't think schools should be teaching morals. They should be teaching civics. Civics is different than morals. Morals is what you learn at home. Of course, some of you people don't have them. Anybody that wants to steal from their neighbor to give the money to the government is immoral and an idiot, by the way. But your morals you're supposed to learn at home. Civics, the Constitution, mathematics, reading, writing, all the stuff you need to function as an American citizen, you're supposed to learn in school. 1 in 4 high school graduates cannot read above a 6th grade level. Think about that. But they can tell you about their made-up fucking pronouns, can't they? So if your kid comes home and says, my new pronouns are, yeah, you might want to go to school and tell the teachers to knock their shit off. Anyway, or they should be fired. In my opinion, if you're an English teacher and you're asking students their preferred pronouns, you should not be teaching English. If you're a science teacher and have to use the term, what do you identify as, you shouldn't be teaching science. If you're a math teacher and they say, my pronouns are they, them, and you don't correct them because it's plural, well, then you shouldn't be teaching math. See how that works? But I'm going to wrap this up because, nobody's dropping any, questions or anything, and it's cool. But you can watch it later in both English, Portuguese, and I'm telling you, I recommend the Japanese. It's funny as hell. But, yeah, peace out, folks.